That's what I think sometimes when I look at the Giants' run defense. This is Tim's New York Giants Straight Talk, powered by Online Big Blue LLC. Want to talk about the off tackle left, off tackle right, off tackle left, Ole defense that sometimes the New York Giants have been running for the last 4 years when it comes to setting the edge with their defensive ends and holding the edge with their linebacker against the run. The Jets at times during the joint practice have looked extremely proficient running against the New York Football Giants. Cam Scattaboo, I'm hoping I'm going to love the Scattaboo, and at times he is taking the edge on this defense like it's nobody's business, and I get kind of worried about that. Why? Because is Cam Scattaboo that good, or is the Giant defense that porous against the run? You had Tyrone Tracy Jr. doing the same thing repeatedly. We gave up over 2,000 yards last year in rushing and 15 plus touchdowns. A lot of people will say, well, look at our pass defense. Well, look how proficient it was at times. Well, your pass defense will look proficient when no one's throwing the ball because all they're doing is running. And you look at the way this Giant defense is constituted right now, and I keep thinking about it over and over again. You could potentially have a hellacious pass rush. You potentially could have the ability to have some giddy up and get after that quarterback like it's nobody's business. But the problem is going to be this, and this is where the problem is going to fall. And Carl Banks, like I said, I always bring it up because of the fact that he said it on the show. Very plain and simply, you have to earn your right to rush the passer. And what he means by that is you have to set the edge. You have to stop the run game before you can go out and rush the passer. And that's just going to be it. Because, at the end of the day, if the New York Giants can't do this and are proficient at it, Brian Daboll's going to be looking for a new job and the Giants are going to be looking for a new candidate. And you know what? Sometimes trying to find a great candidate is like finding a needle in a haystack. So you know what you need? You need ZipRecruiter. Finding great candidates to hire is simple. There's so many resumes out there right now, not enough qualified candidates with the right skill sets. You're going to waste your time, but not with ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter finds amazing candidates for you. And right now you could try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/audio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/audio. Right, ZipRecruiter has this technology. We've always talked about it before. We can rebuild it. We can make it better. But they have this technology that identifies top candidates for your roles quickly. It's a powerful matching technology. That's, like I said, it shows you the qualified people. ZipRecruiter lets you connect with candidates ASAP. You can use ZipRecruiter, a pre-written apply now message to personally reach out to your favorite candidates and encourage them to apply sooner. I mean, how much easier can this be? I'm going to make it even easier. Try it for free. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/audio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/audio. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get qualified candidates within the first day. Again, I'm going to say it again. Try it for free at the exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/audio. Again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/audio. ZipRecruiter is the smartest way to hire. So we hope that Mara is not going to be going on ZipRecruiter to figure out where he's going to get a head coaching candidate if we can't stop the run. And we look at the way this roster is constructed. There's some problems. There's some issues. We have a plethora of defensive ends that eerily similar do the same thing. And again, that's going to be Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, and Abdul Carter. Now, is there a potential that we could make a trade? You just traded 2 years ago now for Brian Burns. Brian Burns, to me, is showing a quick first step. He's showing this simpatico relationship with Abdul Carter.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
And these two guys, if you watch that Jet practice, they're all out of bubblegum. They're sitting there and kicking ass right now. And like I said, if you think Abdul Carter is going to be what you believe he can be, you have an asset in Kayvon Thibodeau that you can move on from. You have an asset in Kayvon Thibodeau who has a 5th-year option guaranteed at only $12.5 million. If you are a premier or considering yourself to be a premier pass rusher, having a team or having the ability for another team to take down to that fifth-year option, like 12.5 guaranteed, that's crazy. That to me is an asset alone. And right now, if you look at the New York Giants, we're 3.5-point dogs at home to the Jets. How did I know that? I went to FanDuel.com. FanDuel.com, number one sports book in America. You know what you do? You go to FanDuel, you check your bets. And like I said, if I'm a betting man, and sometimes I am, I'm taking the 3.5 points that FanDuel is offering. And like I said, I love FanDuel because it's not just a sports book. They got everything, guys. They got fantasy. They got slot machines. They even have their own television channel. And again, that's FanDuel.com, number one sports book in America. Make sure you check that out. But if I'm a betting man, or I'm Joe Shane, and I like to roll the dice, you know what I'm doing? I gotta move on from Kayvon. I have to find a trading partner that has assets that can improve my team and will not hurt the defense, but improve the defense in such a way, and watch this, potentially improve the offense. And you're sitting there like, Tim, what the hell are you talking about? There's no way you can do this. Well, there is a way. Well, there's a will, there's a way. I was looking through a lot of the teams today. And now, even if you take away Kayvon Thibodeaux, because Kayvon Thibodeaux, we already know, has an injury issue. But let's say you still have let's say you get rid of Kayvon Thibodeaux, you still have Abdul Carter, Brian Burns, and Dexter Lawrence. So you still have a formidable front, but the problem is your linebacking core is lacking. So you got to find a trading partner who needs defensive line help, who needs a pass rush, who has a plethora of linebackers, and potentially a wide receiver too. Do I have your interest? Do I have your interest? Because you're still going to be able.
No, I don't want them to gain another yard. You blitz all night.
With the talent the Giants have on this roster, you still have the potential to do that. But watch this. There is a team out there that can offer us a stout, run-stopping linebacker who's improved at rushing the passer over the last 3 seasons, and a wide receiver with explosive ability that they can get rid of and still not hurt their roster. Ooh. I know. What's that team? None other than the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers have 4 former first-round picks along their defensive line, and none of them are performing at any type of level. Rashawn Gary has watched his play decline over the last 3 seasons since his best career campaign in 2021. He only ranked 49th against edge defenders, and that was in 2004. Kenny Clark, he's already going on the wrong side of 30, and that'll happen during the 2025 season, has shown he's shown a big decline. And he's ranked 53rd amongst interior defensive linemen. So if you are the Green Bay Packers and you have this thought process that you are going to go into the playoffs, that you have this potential to make this team, that you have built this defense in such a way that you have this offense that's put together that you can really make a run at going to a Super Bowl and getting another Lombardi trophy. You need a defensive presence who can rush the passer and do it consistently. And why not offer a fifth overall pick in Kayvon Thibodeaux, who you'll get this season and next season only $12.5 million. But then you're like, Tim, well, what are we going to get back? What are we getting back in return? I'm going to tell you. 22nd pick overall, Quay Walker. Quay Walker has had an interesting career since he came with the Green Bay Packers. They did not pick up his 5th-year option due to the ankle injury. The ankle injury occurred during last season, and he basically came back way too early. And what did he do? He hurt it again in the Eagle game. So if you take a look at the way that the Packers are constructed, Quay Walker is probably now, I'm not going to say an afterthought, but Quay Walker right now, from the talent they have, is going to be kind of a luxury. And this is a guy coming out of Georgia, big guy, athletic, prototypical linebacker, 6'4", 240 pounds. He'd be that giant linebacker we haven't seen in years. Yes, he did get kicked out of a game 2 years ago. I think it was the Seattle game on a stupid play. But this is a guy that over 3 seasons has 341 tackles, 206 are solo, 135 assists, 21 tackles for a loss, 12 quarterback hits, and a partridge in a pear tree. He is a tackling machine, and he has been. And he is a guy that if you put on the outside, now I know he plays, he played his first season, he played a little bit in the interior, but they had him at the left outside linebacker last year. But if you put him out, you put him on the outside, you pair him up with the likes of Brian Burns or Abdul Carter on that line, you have a stout run defender who leads the point of attack. Season 1, first season in the league, he had 75 solo, 46 assists. Season 3, 2042, he had 72 tackles solo and only 30 assists, which means he leads the point of attack. He has this giddy up. He goes after. This guy does not miss tackles. Plain and simple. He doesn't miss tackles. Now, you are going to have to deal with the fact that you are going to lose out to him in reference to not having that fifth-year option. Because like I said, his fifth-year option was declined this year by the Packers. And he also is coming off the ankle injury. He just came off the PUP list. I was going to say he just came off the PUP list like a week ago. But here you have an athletic defender who has the ability to lead and defense. He's got, you know what? We talked about this before, and we talked about this all the time. Football's not played in a straight line, but this guy has got elite straight line speed and quickness. And he's got he's an ideal size for a linebacker. And how this guy runs a 5'4" at 240 pounds. He is one of the best tacklers that I've seen come out of Georgia in years. He was the best tackler in Georgia in 2021, I think it was. And I believe as we talk about Abdul Carter's 25.9% missed tackle percentage, in his last season at Georgia, Walker only missed 3 tackles in 15 games. He's instinctive. He takes great angles. He's a strong, powerful guy. And he flows to the football. He flows to the action. We always call it lateral agility. He's smooth. He's a smooth criminal. He's got this. You know what's great about him also? You put him in a small area. He's got this burst. He's got this burst of speed that he attacks the ball carrier. Now, Tim, you're like, well, he was only taken, I believe, 22nd overall. So how can this guy who's been so wonderful for the Packers, all of us, why would they want to trade him? Well, like I said, he's been kind of he is the prototypical change of scenery guy. He's kind of come off.
Am I the meanest?
Sure enough.
Am I the prettiest?
Sure enough.
Am I the baddest mofo low down around this town?
Sure enough.
He's kind of a knucklehead, which is fine. You know, I don't mind knuckleheads if you can perform. Lawrence Taylor was a knucklehead. And I'm not comparing this guy to Lawrence Taylor. I'm not saying this guy's Lawrence Taylor, but he was a knucklehead. And like I said, he's got the ankle injury right now. So he has that has that carrying over his head a little bit. And the fact, like I said, they did not pick up his 5th-year option. So he is potentially could be a free agent next season. But this is a guy, like I said, he eliminates one of your issues. He also has improved each season in reference to his pass rushing ability. Now, his stats do not stand out in reference to sacking the quarterback. I mean, that's the first thing people are going to think. Well, Tim, his stats don't stand out about rushing the quarterback. He's only had 6.5 sacks his entire career. Truth. But for all the Pro Football Focus geeks, I love them, he has an 82% pass rushing win percentage. Ha-ha! I knew Pro Football Focus one day would come in handy.
Make the bad man stop.
Never! I'm like a superhero today because I love this guy. Quay Walker, man, I'm telling you right now, you put him in the middle of this, you don't even really, you put him on the outside of this defense, and then you have the likes of Bobby Okereke, and you also have Micah McFadden. You put in Quay Walker, you can have Burns and Abdul Carter as your defensive ends. You still have Dexter Lawrence in the middle. You still have some depth in regards to the defensive tackle, defensive end position. It makes all the sense in the world. And you're going to have a lot of fans out there and say, well, you know what? You can't trade a premium pass rusher or potential premium pass rusher such as Kayvon Thibodeau for a linebacker on a 1-year prove-it deal who may not be back the following season. I agree. Watch this. A little bit of sleight of hand here, guys. One of the other areas that the Packers are flushed in is wide receiver. That's the interesting thing. And there's a wide receiver on this team named Romeo Doubs. You got a guy that has all the potential in the world for a former fourth round pick. He is a guy that has had some issues last year. He had to deal with suspension. He had to do with 2 concussions, which were kind of close together. But as a guy on the receiver and a possible upgrade at your wide receiver 2 position, he makes all the sense in the world. He is a guy that, like I said, in my mind, automatically, you put him above Darius Slayton. And a lot of people are going to say, well, you can't do that, Darius Slayton, because he has been a consummate professional and consummate giant. Yeah, I don't care. My goal this year is to win some games. I've said this before. If you take a look at the way this team is constructed, and you take a look at the way the schedule is, if you can go 3-3 in your first 6, you only have to go 6-5 in your last 11, because I think 9 wins takes this team. I think it does. I really do. Now, I know he's shown more flashes of potential during that rookie season in 2023 with 8 receiving touchdowns. And like I said, he faced some. He had the mid-season suspension and the 2 concussions. But at 6'2", 204 pounds, he's got. I mean, like I said, the guy can catch the ball. He tracks the ball well when he's going deep. And is there a guy on this team that throws a rainbow? Or is there a guy that throws this high arcing pass? He has the ability to track the ball. He's solid in quickness. Now his route running at times can be a little. He's not Kadarius Toney. He can work on his route running, but he's a guy that, like I said, he had 42 receptions for 425 yards and over in 2022, 59 receptions and 674 yards and 8 touchdowns in 2023. And then he had 46 receptions for 601 and 4 touchdowns in a shortened 2004 season. He had a strong start of the season last year. He had 2 touchdown games against Arizona in week 6. He had the concussion in week 12 against, I think it was San Francisco. And then he returned for the Seattle game. I think that was week 15, and then he kind of got concussed again. But like I said, this is a guy that is an immediate upgrade at the wide receiver position for the New York Football Giants. And this is a guy that, like I said, now here's the problem once again. He is a 4th round pick going into year 4. So it's going to be a 1-year prove-it deal. It's going to be a 1-season prove-it deal again. I'm sorry, the second concussion he had was in the Eagle game because they lost Dobbs and Walker in that Eagle game. He had the concussion in the Eagle game, that's right. But think about the home run you can hit. Moving on from Kayvon Thibodeau. And I'm not saying give up on Kayvon Thibodeau, but Kayvon Thibodeau is never going to be that perfect defensive end. He's not going to be a guy that has the ability to play the run like Matthias Kiwanuka or even a Michael Strahan or a Jason Pierre-Paul. He's never going to be that 80-plus tackle guy. But as an asset in an overabundant position that we have now with hopefully two quality pass rushers. And you can only make this trade if you believe that Abdul Carter is going to be the real deal for the entire season. You get Quay Walker and you get Romeo Doubs, two players coming back from injuries, two players back on prove-it deals, but two players that immensely and immediately improves your offense and your defense. Boom. And you have two guys on lower end first round. You have a lower end first round contract and a fourth round deal. And you get a wide receiver 2 to go along with Malik Neighbors to take the pressure off him. And you get a linebacker who has the ability to set the edge, play the run, attack, and who is improving as a pass rusher. So if you want to rush him, you will have that ability too. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, Quay Walker really fast. Quay Walker is not what we refer to as fleet of foot in regards to going out and covering the tight end and running back. Is he as bad at times as Blake Martinez was? No, he's not. He's not as bad at times, but he has regressed in reference to his pass defense. He is a guy that in his first year, the league only completed 53% of the passes against him. Last year, they completed 80%. So I'm not going to drop his ass into coverage much because what I want him to do, and he's athletic enough. I think he just needs to be coached up. He is athletic enough to cover the tight end and the wide receiver. But like I said, he is not proficient at covering the wide receiver or covering the linebacker. Excuse me, the wide receiver or the tight end. I apologize for that. So he's not going to give you that. But that's not what I'm bringing him in for. That's not what I'm bringing. Anyway, like I said, he hasn't been impressive going back to Georgia. I think he gave a career best 95.6 career quarterback percentage rating against him. But like I said, he is a guy that you can grow into this. And I don't want him from that. I want him to set the edge and allow my two guys to attack. And hopefully Banks and Paulson Adebo find this magic elixir and are good again. And that's the way we fix the New York Football Giants. 9 wins. You make this trade. I guarantee 9 wins. And I'm guaranteeing you're going to be in contention for the playoffs. Oh, there's a lot going on. We're going to be at the game on Saturday. We'll have a live stream on Sunday. So make sure you stay tuned from that. And as always, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to ring that bell because you want to know why. That'd be awesome.